Hello and welcome back. I hope you are staying safe and well and are having a nice day. In today's video, I'm going to be going over what all schools do if children get coronavirus and answering some of the questions. So, what if my child has a cough or cold? So basically, so far, the NHS has advised that if a child has mild cold-like symptoms, they should still continue to go to school because things such as sore throats, blocked and runny noses are not actually symptoms of coronavirus. But if it is a really heavy cold, the government, especially in Scotland, says children should take a day or two off to get better. But if they have a continuous cough or fever or a loss of / change in smell or taste, they may have coronavirus and they should stay at home and isolate for at least 10 days and be tested. If this is the case, then other members of the household should also self-isolate for 14 days. So to summarise that, it's basically saying if they have mild cold-like symptoms like a sore throat, blocked runny nose, they're not symptoms of coronavirus, so it's okay. But if it's a continuous fever or loss in smell or something else, or continuous cough, then they should be checked out. Will children have to wear face coverings in school? If they live in a local lockdown area, people in year 7 and above will have to wear face coverings indoors, but not actually in class. But the head teachers in secondary schools will have the power to introduce masks at any point. And in Scotland and Northern Ireland, secondary school students have to wear face coverings in between lessons. In Wales, it's up to local councils and schools to decide. So what measures should schools be following? So over the summer, schools have gone into an enormous effort to make themselves safe over the break, but it will actually change quite a lot from school to school. So these will include hand sanitation stations, one-way systems, staggered break times, but some of the rules that must be kept at all time is obviously that people with COVID-19 symptoms must stay away from school, obviously more frequent hand washing, good hygiene around tissues for sneezes and coughs, enhanced cleaning procedures, and this should be maintained whenever possible. But actually going through the main question of this video, what would happen if there was a coronavirus outbreak? As the school have said, to have a coronavirus, there is a coronavirus outbreak if there are 2 or more confirmed cases within 14 days, or if there are a rise in the number of children off with suspected COVID-19. If this happens, a school will probably just work with the local authority to work out what will happen. So if there is an outbreak in the school, a mobile testing unit will be sent. Testing will start with the infected pupils class, followed by their year group, then the whole school is necessary. So it seems that there isn't a particular answer right now, but they're going to go from person to person, group to group. But they may have to self-isolate maybe the whole year. But they're saying closing a school might generally not be necessary. But if pupils can't come in, the schools are expected to have a home working plan, just like the online school they had in the summer term. So what about schools in local lockdown areas? If there is a change in the number of coronavirus cases in an area of England, schools will use a 4-stage tier system of extra measures. So Tier 1, schools fully open to all pupils, face coverings required in corridors and communal areas for staff and students year 7 and above. Tier 2, there'll be a rota-system, ideally 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and it will be used by secondary schools and colleges for most pupils, and primary schools will stay open. Tier 3 and Tier 4, wider groups of pupils will go back to remote learning at home, while vulnerable and key worker children will continue to go to school. These measures will be used in an absolute last resort. Areas where local lockdowns are currently operational are in Tier 1. So that's just with the face coverings. So how will the school day work? Schools will be asked to stagger start and finishing times, minimise pupil contact and put classes or year groups into bubbles. They should avoid assemblies or collective worship with more than one group, avoid contact sport and unnecessary sharing of objects. And what about getting to school? Walking and cycling are encouraged. Parents should not gather in groups at school gates or on site without an appointment. Dedicated school transport services will be asked to move children in bubbles, provide hand sanitizer, apply social distancing where possible, ask children over 11 to wear face coverings. Schools will also need a process for staff and pupils to remove face coverings, safety on arrival. And if possible, breakfast and after school clubs should resume, with children staying within their year groups or bubbles if possible, and if not, in small consistent groups. In my opinion, what I think it will look like, I think generally students will be kept in their year group or classes and kind of kept that way. Obviously no non-contact sport. A lot of schools are doing tennis or cricket or athletics and rowing or any of their normal summer sports. I think social distancing will be kept where possible, avoiding large gatherings, and people will be trying to maintain a distance. But at the end, it is a school, so it is quite hard to maintain the distance. But I'll see what happens, and hopefully it should be safe within the next few weeks. So thanks for watching this video. I hope it was extremely informative, and I hope you stay safe and stay well.